I looked on the map to see where an old homestead was in the middle of the woods, and I've come across it, and I've come across a dump. Now, I don't know if this dump's been dug out or not. It's possible. But you can see, and it's not old. Looks like the late 50s again. I don't know. But I'm going to probe around here and see what I can find. And see what's here. If I don't find nothing, I won't bring you up. But if I do find something, I will let you know. Okay, let's see what's here. Well, like I usually come up with, we're looking at 1950s, late 40s stuff. There's nothing really here old enough for me. They got a lot of Listerine bottles, that's for sure, if you like Lambert drugs. Mason jars of some sort. And this takes up an area here, which is, looked like it was just a random dump. It wasn't concentrated federal law. So I'm not impressed at all with any of this. So I think I'm going to go on. Here's a perfume bottle. I don't know what kind it is. But there's an Anchor perfume. I don't know. There's a milk. There's one of those. I'm familiar with these. I think this might even be a... Yeah, it's an Avon. An Avon bottle, which they are very common in this time period. Tincture of something. So, instead of wasting my time here, I'm going to go off and find another homestead. There's two more up the road that I can check out and see what that is. These are just not old enough. I mean, there are no sodas that I can see. Primarily, there's just this kind of stuff. I mean, pretty bottle, but not my interest. So let's keep on going and see what we can see. Milk glass is common. Menon, aftershave. I can name all this stuff on the ground here because I've dug it and looked it up, and to see what time period, and see no deposit, no return. A lot of little blue jars. I don't need those. So let's keep on going, and I'll put you up when I find something cool. Bye. Well, I'm searching for dumps here, and I'm right outside of Robertsville, a little town, and what I found was dumps. But I don't think they're very old, unfortunately, although this area goes back to the 1840s. I don't see anything sitting back here that looks like it's past the 60s. So I don't know how lucky I'll get out here. It seems like the people who dumped later in the day, looks like they just dumped right out of their house, right out their back door. I mean, the older dumps seem to be farther in the woods, but so far I've not seen them. So anyway, as you can see, I'm around some dumps, so let me see what I find, and if I come up with something, I'll turn you on. Here we are. Well, this town is pretty old. course, we have Mamie Tannings. Mamie, or Mammy, she died in 1911. She was born right after the Civil War. So this old town goes back a ways. I mean, there's tombstones that I can't even read. And walking around this old graveyard gives me an idea of the time period that has potential. That's why I come to these places, because I'm not morbid or anything. I'm just trying to date 1900 right there. I can't read the name. 1908. When you see these markers around, you know. And this person died Bostic. He was fairly old when he died in 1879. 1881. There's a Bostick's. You can see back there, there's a big Bostic grave right there. So the Bosticks were a major woodsman. When you see these stones, Miss A.M. Solomon, and they was Order of the Woodsman. We put that up to you if you were part of their group. So, yeah, these marks are for Civil War veterans right here. So, these two people were veterans of the Civil War. And that's about it. I'm going to head on out now because I've got to find someplace to dig today before it gets too late. But as you can see, Robertsville goes back quite a ways. Again, we have a Civil War veteran from the Captain Edward Lawton, fell while leading his charge at Fredericksburg in 1862. So he's hardcore here, and we're going to leave it at that. And I'm off. I'm at this dump that I started a while back, and I'm going to try to finish it today. There's really not that great stuff in here, but I might get lucky and find something, a soda or two. So let me get to it, and I'll get back to you. Now this is what I'm going to tell you about these newer dumps. You see this bottle here? It's a machine-made cork. It's a whiskey fifth. And it's Owens, Illinois, from the 30s, before Prohibition. So that's what I mean. These places sometimes will surprise you on what you'll find in them. I'm not going to keep this bottle, of course, but just to show you, whiskey fifth from Prohibition times. Let's keep going. Well, I'm not coming up with much. I got a knee-high that's 50s, but I got a Starland. As you can see, there's a star on that, and it does say Starland Dairy from the 40s. So at least I'm on board with that. Other than that, I think I'm on my way home. So I'll talk to you all later. Bye. Anyways, on my way out, I found something pretty good. A 10-ounce embossed Coca-Cola. This bottle's not very common, and has a number on it, and I can see looks like a 55, and I think they went back a little later. But yeah, there you go. It's right next to that a Pepsi, which is worthless really, and this one here is a Fanta. But yeah, got a good one right there. and I'm on my way home. Bye. Well, I am going to run through these bottles today, the ones that I dug yesterday. I went out to some small towns in South Carolina and went to some of the woods and trekked through some of the places to find these things, and as I always do, I finally came up with a few things that are worthy of talking, and some older things that we've talked about before, but found a little bit more history on them. We'll go through the milk bottles real quick first, because pretty much these have less information. Here's a Starland Dairy. It probably had a red pyro glaze or ACL on it. There's a star on there. Savannah bottle. 1940s top. This bottle, of course, we all know goes 1888. It was not a dairy in itself, but it was a co-op started by a few farmers up from Pooler, and this place went out of business in the it kicked in around, I guess, 1980. They totally went out of business. They were around for a long time, and it's a very sought after bottle. I found older ones, but this is the version I found yesterday. The other one here is Harm's Dairy. You can't really see it. The pyro here is pretty weak, but there we have Harm's. This is also a 1949 version. It's a half pint, and Harm's, from what I gather, started in 1909, and it was run by a family. It wasn't a co-op. It was actually Oakhurst Farms. It was bottled by, and they were around all the way up until the 1960s when the farm was sold. And so you have this is the last remnant of that dairy. The other bottle that I found, which is not that easy to find, believe it or not, because it didn't have that big of a run, is this 10-ounce Coca-Cola. In 1955, Coke decided that they would produce bigger bottles. They usually had 6 to 6.5 ounce. What was that? The patent office bottle that ran from all the way to 1955, or 51 actually. That was a patent office. That was only a 6.5, but in 1955 they put out 6 ounce, 10 ounce, and 12 ounce bottles. I'd like to find those 12 ounce bottles, and they were embossed. But by 1957, Coke decided they would stop making this bottle embossed and put a white pyro on it. So this bottle started appearing from 1957 with a white pyro, and that was it. They embossed here and there their bottles for a while in no deposit, no return, but the return bottles ended the embossment in 1957. So there you have this, and so it's not an easy one to find. I come across them though. Of course, Coke put them out by the millions. That's a nice bottle, 10 ounce. The other bottle that I have covered before is this one, Chattanooga Medicine Company. This is a black draft. This is one of their big sellers. But the thing about this company is still around. They still It's called Chatham Medical Company, and it's still up in Chattanooga, and they still make medicine, or over-the-counter medicine. If you've ever used Gold Bond or Icy Hot or taken Rolaids, well, they're the company who put them out. They were prolific. They sold millions of bottles of this. This is Black Draft, but Wine of Cardew was another one. This was I think a Black Draft was for a laxative, and Wine of Cardew was a woman's medicine. I don't know what exactly its properties were, but I know Cardew, they claim, was a plant that helped in digestion and that kind of thing. So these guys are still around, called Chatham Chemical. They're still in Tennessee, and they still make all kinds of things like Icy Hot, Flexol, all those things you hear about, and probably some of y'all might take. Rolaids was one very common, and it came and went back and forth. They had a lot of trouble with product quality and that kind of thing, but yeah, these are big hitters, and they're still going on. This bottle is 1940s, and I found it in the middle of the woods at a homestead that it's hard to find, and it what's left of it is a few bricks and block and bottles and glass and tin. And that's what you're going to look for when you're walking through the woods, a pine woods. You're going to see that remnant. Now, I don't know if this dump that I found this stuff in was already dug or not. It didn't look it. It just looked like it was been kicked around by whoever who was logging that piece of woods. And the rest of the stuff, okay, I always get these little perfume bottles, and they are a lot of fun. The tumbler, that's a peanut butter jar, and it's from the 50s. And that is our good old friend Milk of Magnesia from the 50s or late 40s. And it's a blue jar. I just put it in a lot and get rid of it in that much. So there you go. Yeah, Wine of Cardew, Coca-Cola, Harm's Dairy, and Starland. They were the stars for my dig today. And I will give you a little bit more information about these things when I find them. A little bit more, there's a never-ending, that's the thing about bottle collecting. There's a never-ending source of information if you can find it. The milk bottles, of course, are difficult, especially these local milk bottles, because, well, there was not much really to say about them. Like, they were farmers. They produced milk. What else did they do? That, they didn't do anything. Oh, one other little footnote, one other little trivia thing about Chatham, or the Chattanooga Medicine Company, is during World War II, they were the largest producers of K rations for the United States Army and any other source. So they kept the Army fed during World War II. So these guys did a lot, and their history is very intriguing, to say the least. I don't know if I take any of their product. I don't think, the way my shoulder's feeling today, I should probably go and get a carton of Icy Hot. But yeah, anytime you're taking something like that, just think of old Chattanooga and Zebram Patton. He's the guy who started it all. Take it easy, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.